Well, welcome back, Saltyackers. Well, you may want to mute that.
Got it. We have not been like super professional about live videos, but the more we do it, the better. I used to do these for a living.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, the more we do it, the better we'll get. But
yes,
we need to get better with our microphones. Our last live last week did not turn out, so sorry.
Sorry about that. We tried to do it outside, and that just made things difficult, to say the least. And Sonny's joining us, our dog. You can't see her. She's out front. She's down there. But she's happy to be here.
And I'm watching. I'm going to watch for comments. We got 2 more minutes.
So we're just kind of chilling until 7 o'clock, everybody. So gives folks a chance to show up. But while we wait, it is in fact Tackle Tuesday. And as y'all know, we like to talk about, what we did in the last week of fishing, or what we plan to do in the upcoming week of fishing, and we'd like y'all to chime in. So if you fished last week and something cool happened, we want to know about it. If you got fishing coming up this weekend and there's anything y'all want to pick our brain or other viewers' brains about, about what you got going on, then drop a dime over there and let us know, and we'll
drop a dime?
We'll yak about it. Well, hey, dropping dimes is better than dropping deuces. Maybe.
We are in, our son moved out, and we are in his old bedroom. And we now have a space for,
it's the Saltyak studio. Welcome.
It's the Saltyak studio, and it's going to evolve as we go.
Right.
So.
Where do we see the numbers on there? Just so
what numbers are you looking for?
Don't know. Anyways. Okay, well, without further ado, Aaron had picked a couple of things for us to talk about tonight. I think you said you wanted to talk about the fact that today is Earth Day.
Yeah, so happy Earth Day to everyone. I thought, we actually, believe it or not, have the earth on our minds when we're kayak fishing. The ocean is a very special place, without sounding cheesy, and it's pretty amazing what has been provided to us, to enjoy. And I just wanted to talk about, pick up after yourself, take with you what you brought, and especially if you're fishing in a kayak, and Will can chime in, and you're, cutting your line, and you're retying, all those things, all of that line, keep it contained and throw it away when you're
keep it in your boat. Don't let it hit the water.
Don't throw it in the water, guys. We see it happen all the time. Like, that adds up.
And just like last weekend, Saturday morning, we're going out, or Sunday morning, I don't know, everything's a blur now. We get there, it's crazy early, still dark. We hit the beach at like 5:30 at a little place we love to go, and there's this awesome little beach where we can launch the kayaks. And it's the most picturesque, beautiful little spot you've ever seen. It looks like a Florida postcard. And we get there, and I open my truck door and swing my leg out, and it's dark out, and when I step down, I hear crunch. I'm, what the hell? And I'm about to twist an ankle. I look down, and there's like 3 or 4 beer cans laying right there. And I'm like, man, come on. This is like the most beautiful spot ever. And 20 feet away, the city has provided us with like 4 giant trash barrels.
Yeah.
And they're not even like full or anything. There's barely anything in them. Walk the 20 feet, dude. Throw your beer cans in the trash. Like,
yeah.
Do we really got to have Earth Day to talk about this? Come on, folks. Let's be responsible. Let's keep our stuff clean.
Yeah. The other thing is, pretty much, I would say 90%, and that's being generous, 90% of the manatees that we see while we're fishing have propeller scars on their backs. And there are designated areas for manatees within Southwest Florida, and there will be signs that say no wake zone. This is
Manatee area.
manatee area. And I just think, and trust me, we like going on the boat too. We're not just kayakers. But we have to be respectful of the animals that God's provided and take care of them. And, be careful, watch out for dolphins and manatees. It's all part of this wonderful ecosystem that if we wreck it all, we're not going to have it. And everything is like, I feel like God put every little intricate detail into this planet, and everything works together in harmony. And if one thing is out of whack, if we screw up one thing, then everything's out of whack. So we really have to be conscious of those things and be careful.
Man, we're getting deep and heavy
Yeah.
tonight.
So,
Hey, quick question. In the last few weeks in our video, because of some goofy stuff in settings, everything here was backwards. So I'm just curious. Are y'all seeing the old Salt Yak logo up there? Is it backwards? Somebody drop a comment. Let me know. Is it correct? Or is
it looks correct over here, so that's good.
Yeah, it looked correct to me last time too, and then it was backwards.
Okay.
So, hopefully it's not tonight. So yeah, for Earth Day, guys, let's just be real about, let's all kind of keep that on the forefront. And anytime you're out, we're not just talking the ocean. Only a small percentage of us live on the ocean. Everybody else living inland, man, America's a beautiful place. Let's keep that way. Pick up your crap. It ain't hard.
Yeah, the main topic tonight, though, is so we had a kingfish tournament that we were telling you about and that we were excited about. So we'll take it away. Do you want to take it away, or do you want me to start?
Well, let's just say the tournament did not go well. Mother Nature was nasty. She was like, oh, whole bunch of folks want to go out and have a great time doing some fishing and having some competitive spirit about it. Nah, I don't think so. So she really kicked it up and out on the water all day. It was 25.
You're not telling stories tonight. Okay, so I'm going to tell the beginning of it.
Okay.
So we obviously get there early Saturday morning, around 5 or so. First thing I notice is a full moon, which, if you're an avid fisherman, I don't care what anyone says, it screws up the fish.
100%.
They've been up all night.
They're up having a buffet all night.
And now they're night, and they are not hungry.
Yeah.
Number one was that. Number two, it had stormed. I actually thought there was a little micro tornado the way it sounded at our house that night before. It stormed so hard, and I actually ran out to close our umbrella table because I was afraid our umbrella was going to break. And so it had rained the night before, it was a full moon, and we had a cold front. Okay? This is what started our early Saturday morning.
Beep. We had a cold front. We live in South Florida. So for us, the cold front, this girl, you'd have thought she was about to freeze to death because it was like 65 degrees. But for us, that's cold.
Out on the boat, when you're, trying to get to a spot, it is cold.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we finally get on the water and the wind's blowing 25 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh, the
day,
wind, y'all, the wind.
Which has waves just blown
Yes.
up and the water gross and grass everywhere. Needless to say, fishing sucked. So then we had to abort, what we thought were our original plans on how we were going to get out and look for kingfish. And we had to say, okay, well, we're going to be stuck catching a kingfish in Tampa Bay because we can't get out in the Gulf of America in this weather. And guess what we did not do? We did not catch a fish in Tampa Bay. The fish weren't having it.
Okay, so as girls, all three of us caught one trout. And I don't even want to tell y'all this, but I caught a catfish.
See, I wasn't going to go to any of that. I was trying to be nice. I wasn't even going to rat you out like that.
Yeah, we're trying to catch kingfish, like serious game fish. And I caught a trout. That's awful.
We want 40-pound kingfish. We got a 14-inch long trout.
Yeah.
But anyways, then we began to move around the bay and look for any possibilities in channels, and nothing going on in any of the channels. No, okay, let's head out by the Skyway Bridge, and there's a lot of water there, and it's moving hard, and
We had actually had another captain tell us it was a good spot to possibly find kingfish or Spanish mackerel, which was kind of our
the second category.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we head over there, and we're cruising past the Skyway Bridge, and it's rough. And we're trolling baits, but it's rough.
We're more like losing baits, $6, $7 baits. Boom, boom.
One after another.
It was like, oh my gosh.
She thinks they're $6 or $7.
Or whatever, 12.
Yeah,
I
12,
don't know.
15, $20 baits.
I know we lost a lot of crap in
Yeah.
front of the Skyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so then as we're cruising along, and I spot something off in the distance, and there's this weird thing in the water, and I'm the only one that sees it because all the girls are in the back of the boat in survival mode, trying to stay out of the wind. And Bobby, who's our captain, he's focused on where he's driving and maintaining a line in this channel, in this terrible current and waves. And I'm looking off this way off at like our 3 o'clock. And I see something in the water, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And it's blue, and it looks big and flat, and it's laying on the water. And then I thought, oh, I think it's like a windsurfer, right? That has gone down, and that's his sail laying on the water that I'm seeing. And then I watch it for a while as we begin to get a little bit closer, and I start seeing other stuff. And I'm like, there's 2 red things in the water near it. Like, what are those? And what's all this stuff I'm seeing? And okay, I begin to understand. The red things in the water, one of them was a gas can, one of them was a life jacket. And then there's all this like other just random stuff floating in the water. Well, that was not a windsurfer. That was not his sail laying on the water. It was a boat that had capsized, had sank. 3 guys were out in the nastiest conditions.
If you don't happen to live in Florida or have visited, the Skyway Bridge is a bridge that I would compare to like the Golden Gate Bridge. It's enormous. It's tall enough because cruise ships leave from Tampa and they go out under the Skyway Bridge.
Cruise ships and like Freightliner ship containers.
It's one of those bridges you have to pay to get on. We go on it almost every day, so it's not a big deal for us. But if you're visiting, it is a huge bridge. So you can imagine with cruise ships going under it, it's deep water, a lot of it. And considering the conditions that we were out in with the wind and the waves, it was crazy.
And that's all the water that's leaving, that's the Gulf of America is pushing into Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Comes through there. So that's the supply for Tampa Bay. So as the current's going in, it's relatively narrow compared to the rest of the bay. It's not a narrow pass. It's probably a few miles wide. But when you compare that to the 80 miles wide that the rest of the bay is, it's narrow. So you've got a massive amount of water pushing through a narrow spot, and the result is the current there is mean. And that place is known for, that's a pelagic environment. There are pelagic species fish swimming around, and it's pretty common that they're finding, 13, 14, 15 foot long hammerheads.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Massive sharks just live there. Because so much bait fish is getting pushed through there, the sharks live in there to feed on that stuff. So, all that to say, as we begin to realize that that's a boat that has sank, has capsized, and it's like a 15-foot wooden john boat, and these 3 dudes were out there in those conditions in that boat. And apparently what they told us was waves began coming over the side of the boat and boom, pounding the boat, and they actually broke the boat in half, split it, and now the rear portion of the boat's gone. The front portion of the boat rolls over and is now upside down, which is a good thing, because since that little shallow boat's upside down, at least in the hull there was an air pocket here. So it kept the bow of the boat up for a little while. Now, the 3 guys, it's a teenager and 2 adults. And the teenager, they've got him laying up on top of the piece that was still floating, and he's holding on to it and laying on it, and it's slowly sinking. Um, Between the three of them, they had one life jacket because I think all their stuff had floated away. But they had managed to hold on to one life jacket. They give it to the teenager, well, he drops it, and it floats away. So now
he is scared.
He's terrified beyond imagination. You know, this kid's facing mortality at this moment. Who wouldn't be freaked out in that? So we're trying to get close to help them, but we can only get so close because all their debris and their chunk of boat is, as we're trying to get close, is about to start smacking the side of our boat. Well, we can't have two sunk boats out there, so we can only get so close. Excuse me. So we yell out to the kid, hey, you're going to have to get off that boat and swim to us.
Yeah, we started asking them, can you guys swim?
Does everybody know
and
how to swim?
And they only have to swim like 8 feet, but then there's the current and the waves, and it's going to be a tough swim. They're going to have to use their adrenaline.
And it's a rough day out there, so they're wearing like blue jeans and shoes, you know, and long sleeve shirts, and they're in the water like this. And you're going to, you know, to try to swim in that brutal current and waves in wet jeans, it's you know, who wouldn't be scared?
Yeah.
So the kid's yelling to us, I can't, I'm scared, I don't want to, I'm scared. So I find like a paddle. Actually, it was their paddle, it was floating in the water. I grab it, and now I can hold it out. And I was like, you just got to make it to the paddle. You just got to make it to the paddle. And he finally jumps off of that boat, swims the little route, gets the paddle, pull him to the boat. He's immediately trying to climb his way up into the boat, and we're like, oh, just relax, we got you, and get him around to the back of the boat where there's a ladder. Now we get him in.
He's hysterical, by the way, sobbing.
Poor kid, he couldn't even catch his breath. I would have been the same way.
Yeah.
Get number 2 in the boat. Get number 3 in the boat. By the time we've got number 3 in the boat, their half a boat that was floating,
gone.
And all I could think is, man, thank you, Lord, for bringing us here when you did, because these 3 guys, I don't know how you survived that.
It's just, people fish off of, there's some leftover from the original bridge that the city left so that people could fish off of it. So there were bystanders, you know, fishing off of the bridge, but there's nothing they can do besides call 911. And typically boats don't really fish right there because it's just a really tough conditions right there.
Yeah, so you can only fish there on on that perfect day when there's no wind and the tide is very gentle and there's, you know, and it's calm. That's the only time you can fish.
So it was just a miracle that we were there at that exact moment, because, you know, we really don't think they would have survived it.
I just don't know how they could have.
Yeah. It was crazy. So
I couldn't have.
We got home to the weigh-in.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
So as we're getting the 3 of them in the boat, one of the girls is calling 911. And she's telling, you know, the 911 operator exactly what's going on in real time as it's happening. Okay, they're getting the second guy in the boat, blah, blah, blah. And by the time it's done, we're talking to the guys and, you know, where did you launch your boat? Where's your call? And they tell us, well, okay, we know where that is. So we're going to take you there. So as we start to head that way, and they're on the girls are on the phone with 911, she's telling the 911 operator, okay, we have all 3 in the boat, they're all 3 safe, there's no other people, we're going to take them to this park and this boat ramp, and that's where their car is. Okay, and then that ends the call with 911, and we're headed that way. And I mean, it wasn't maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, and we're underway, we're headed there. But we now have 7 people.
I know, I kept thinking, well, Lindsay and I were kind of sitting on like the cooler area under the bow, yeah. I was like, is this safe? She's like, But it was extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, so we can't move very fast is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we're under power for 5 or 10 minutes. In these waves and moving slow, and then you hear them, here they're coming, man.
That was so cool.
The ambulances, the sirens, and you can see in the distance blue lights. on the water. And a couple minutes later, screaming by, here comes, the first one was
Sheriff.
Pinellas County Sheriff's Department in one of those badass boats.
Dude,
They
have a whole rubber side. Oh,
the whole boat's stainless with an enclosed cabin, but then the whole outside of it's like that inflatable. Yeah.
It's so cool.
And it's got like, 2-350s on the back.
Yeah.
And dudes just roar all
we're
lit
like-
up. So we flag him down and here he comes up next to us, boom, ties up and we're, introducing him to the 3 victims and he's checking them out to make sure they're safe and everything's good and there's nobody else out there and all the things. And then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna take you guys on from here and, tells us, y'all are free, y'all can go.
Which is good
Go back
because
to
the oldest of the 3 older man was super skinny and he was wearing blue jeans and we didn't have any towels or blankets. We were lean because we were tournament fishing.
Because we already had too many people and too much stuff on the boat.
Yeah, so
Before we put the
I
other people
felt horrible because we had nothing warm to give them, but it didn't take very long between getting them out of the water and then the sheriff's department showing up was only 8 minutes probably total. But this guy was like shivering.
Hypothermic. He was in the beginning stages of hypothermia.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think because it's so warm out, but that water's not warm. That water there's probably still, 68 degrees, which doesn't sound cold, but when the core is supposed to be 98,
Yeah.
68 is a huge difference. And it can be very dangerous after a short amount of time. So, but then he takes them and it's good, and we're still kind of a little bit talking to the cop about, just make sure everything's good. He took down their phone numbers and stuff like that in case they needed more information later. And then you can see him coming, man, and it's like a freaking parade or a convoy of blue lights coming down the ship channel. And a couple minutes later, there had to have been 8 rescue boats there. There was Pinellas County Sheriff was the first one. Then here comes FWC next. After that, here comes Fire Department, but I can't remember. It might have been St. Pete's Fire Department.
Yeah.
And then here come another rescue boat and
Coast Guard. Yeah.
It was pretty cool, is what
was
I'm getting
cool.
at. I was so impressed with our rescue services between the county and between the sheriff and
They
between
were
the cities.
not messing around.
They weren't. They were coming hard. They were coming ready, and man, they got the cool toys. I'm just gonna tell you, those are some badass boats you guys got. Pinellas County, Manatee County, Sarasota County. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those cops got some cool stuff.
They do.
And I'm glad they do, because look what happens. That cool stuff saves lives. So, if you guys, anybody watching is a frontline server, if you're a cop, if you're a firefighter, if you're a paramedic, EMS, whatever, thank you. We appreciate it.
And we know you're secretly having a really good time.
It doesn't suck to cruise around in those boats, does it?
Yeah, so once we get the guys off of the boat and onto the sheriff's department's boat, we head in and
Yeah,
pretty
much our day was done.
Yeah.
We did a little more fishing, but that's a little bit of a buzzkill. You're not really wanting to be out celebrating, having a great time after that.
Meanwhile, we did notify Erica Allman, who runs Suncoast Classic Events, what had happened. And by the time we got back to the weigh-in, which we should tell the story about the guy in the boat.
How do I start this? Okay, so this tournament, like a lot of tournaments, this particular one's a kingfish tournament. That's your target species, kingfish. But they have all these other categories as well. One of them is a trash fish division. And what that means is it's for trash. You pick up garbage that you see floating in the ocean. Yeah, talk about it on Earth Day, it's appropriate. Whatever trash you pick up while you're on the water, you bring it back, they weigh it at the end of the tournament, and whoever has the most trash by weight wins $1,000. Not a bad, little incentive to pick up some garbage if you see it while you're out there on the water. Now, back up to, we're just finished with getting all these guys off the water and in our boat, and we're about to pull out of the we're just now going to leave with them. No cops there yet, nothing. and we see this other boat come along and starts picking up all their stuff that is washing away in the tide. You know, the gas can, the life jackets, all the stuff that's floating.
Which was a good thing. They should.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, especially like picking up that gas can is a real good thing. We don't want that gas going off. You know?
No.
But turns out that other boat
Was in
the tournament. And they took took all the crap they picked up from them dudes and weighed it in at the trash fish division, and they won $1,000 for picking up all the garbage. I thought, man, if I'd have known that was gonna happen, I'd have weighed them 3 dudes.
Yeah.
Hey guys, do me a favor, get on that scale. I need you to weigh more than all your stuff, dude.
We're not calling them trash at all. We're just saying, like, we caught
like $1,000 would be nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so the tournament knew, and should we tell the story about the big boat in our slot?
No.
Okay. So, anyways, we finally get back to the tournament, to the weigh-in, and they ended up calling us. Erica with Suncoast Classic Events called us up on stage, and she had put together a Good Samaritan award, which was super sweet. Of course, we weren't expecting anything at all. But it was really sweet that she wanted to honor us, and she gave Bobby, the captain, a custom rod and reel that was really nice, offshore
that was
edition.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. She was like, sorry about the short notice. I didn't know this was going to happen, but at least we got to get on stage. And here,
you take it however you can get it.
St. Pete Fishing Outfitters had rigged me up with a new rod and reel, so I still owe them a video.
We still got to get out and find a kingfish.
Yeah, for sure. But
anybody watching want to take us out to find a kingfish?
Yeah, exactly. So it was definitely adventures. We'll never forget that experience, and it humbles you too, and it reminds you like how powerful the ocean is, and that we need to respect it and wear our life jackets more often. And
because we get cocky, everybody gets cocky. You become complacent, and it never even occurs to you that something bad could happen.
Yes.
But listen, man, we are that big compared to that ocean. It doesn't care about you. It's not scared of you. It's not respectful of you. So you better be all those things of it.
And we're like, we don't want to look stupid, or we want to look cool, and putting your life jacket on doesn't look cool. You know, we've all been there and done that. But
sorry, that was a bug flying around.
You might reconsider after that story.
You know, it's funny you say that, because when we went out the other day, I looked over and she had her life jacket on, and she never has her life jacket on.
But I'm trying to look cool, you know, like an idiot.
Hey, speaking of looking cool, guess what, guys? We do have one.
Look at your segue.
I've been planning that all night.
Holy.
But listen, speaking of looking cool, we got some fresh fly new salt. Oh, God, I broke my ankle. Fresh fly new salt. Yeah, gear in. This was the OG. This is a remake of our OG Salt Yak hat. Look at that sucker. Ooh. You know you want one. Now, here's what I want to tell you about them. You know, we could buy some cheap imported hats and really maximize our profits and all that, but we don't do that because we actually want a quality hat. Look at here. Hopefully y'all can see that. The lighting in here is really bad right now.
You can see it good.
We're gonna make it better. You can tell that's a Richardson hat. That's not a knockoff hat. It is a Richardson. It's a Richardson 112 if you're familiar. If you're a dude that fishes, you know what a Richardson hat is.
Everyone knows Richardson 112.
And we've got 4 different versions of them for you. We got the OG black. Then we have a brand new super fly royal blue. Royal blue. It's got the logo, it's got the snook on the side again in the Richardson. And then an all new, never before seen.
Everybody is really loving that one, by the way.
Oh, that's going to be the hot ticket right there. The gray camo and the Richardson 112 Salt Yak.
Yeah, that one's bomb.
And then Aaron made us do something different too. I want to show you.
Well, we've been taking the wives out, and I have a group of fishing girls that we all go, and so we had to add a pink and gray hat to the mix. So Super cute. I'll show you up close. And of course, I'm wearing it too. You know, I had to get one to rip. And so yeah, we just put them on our website yesterday. We've already sold like 4. So definitely go to
Yeah, we sold 4 in the first day.
saltyackcharters.com. You can go to our merch link, and then you'll see all of our hats listed.
Or you can just drop me a comment right here and say,
Yes.
I want a hat. And I'll respond to your comment, and I'll get your information, and we'll take care of it for you. You probably want to know the price.
They're $35.
They're
yes.
$35. That's right.
Yep.
And free shipping. So.
Yeah, so, but yeah, if you want to pay online, you can go on our website as well. Again, that was saltyackcharters.com. And we will be happy to ship them out to you wherever you live. So.
And if you watched with us last week, you know that we had a total breakdown with our equipment. Microphones weren't working and all that. But you see up on the banner there, Bait Shark, the inventor and owner of Bait Shark was here with us. And his name's Matt, super cool guy, crazy smart, literally a rocket scientist, So his brain waves are a little above mine, but we'll be bringing him back along soon so we can, again, share his story in a way that maybe you'll actually be able to hear him.
Yes, we had microphone malfunctions, but we'll get better. Hang in there with us.
That's right. We're not experts, we ain't pros, we didn't grow up in Hollywood or anything like that, but we're working on it. So, guys, anything else you'd like to talk about tonight? Drop us a quick comment, let us know.
Well, and we can say one more story is that, and we have been posting about this, and a video goes live on Saturday. But do you want to tease about your video that they should watch Saturday morning?
It's a good one. I had literally, probably the best morning of fishing that I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was sick.
So our son moved out. He's 20, and we're really proud of him. He moved out last week. Like I mentioned, we took over his bedroom. And I wanted to stay home and clean and reorganize the entire house.
She screwed up.
And I was like, Will, you need to go, because a lot of times if he goes by himself, he's not worried about me. We don't have friends where we're messing around and giggling and laughing. And he just goes and he's quiet and he goes by himself. He does really well. So
this time I did anyway.
yeah, so he got to go by himself.
I had the fastest, earliest inshore slam of my life. It was sick. I can't even tell you how many fish I caught. I lost count. I'm working on a video that it'll be done. It'll be dropping this coming Saturday. And I had to try to shave them down because I'm like, I can't, nobody's going to watch an 8-hour-long video, so I can't put every fish in it. It is still way too long. I'm still trying to shave it down, but I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, I caught, I think, 4 redfish, and the smallest one was 26 inches.
Yeah.
That was the little one.
And he got it all on camera. So Saturday morning when you're cooking breakfast, just turn it on your TV, and you will really enjoy. I've already seen parts of it. It's really exciting.
And I got a cool chance to bless some folks, and I didn't video this part. I probably should have, because it was kind of fun. As I had decided at one point that, hey, let's have fish dinner tonight. You know, a lot of times we're just catch and release. We're letting them all go. But I'm going to keep a few fish today. So I catch this first redfish that's like the perfect keeper because it's 26 inches. It's, 1 inch under the top of the slot. The perfect fish, huge fillets. But I'm going to let him go because I kind of decided, and I caught that fish. I'd been on the water. Well, it was my very first shrimp. Not my first cast, but first shrimp. I had thrown that one shrimp 3 or 4 times when I caught that first fish. So I was like, it's too early to keep a fish because here, Southwest Florida, we're only allowed 1 redfish per day to keep. Too early to keep him, so I'm going to throw him back in case later I caught one that maybe, choked the hook deep. And I'd have to keep that one because he probably wouldn't survive. So until then, we're just letting him go. I let the 3 awesome redfish go. And then the 4th one choked the hook and was was the right one to keep. So I kept him, and then after I kept him, then I'm like, well, probably should keep a little more. So went and hit the trout flats. Quickly got 2 or 3 nice keeper-sized trout. You know, bigger than 15. They still weren't huge, but they were bigger than 15-inch minimum. And then okay, it's a wrap. I'm done. I'm out. And I go to the beach, and we've kind of made friends with some folks.
East Coast, sup? East Coast.
Oh, wait.
Leah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sup, East Coast style.
Right here,
Yeah.
SUP. So SUP as in stand-up paddleboard. Stand-up paddleboard, East Coast style. These people have a super cool business. They'll take you paddleboarding, but the bigger thing they do are the e-foils. These things are so cool, guys. It's for those of you who maybe don't know what that is, if you don't live down here, it's basically like, you know, a skateboard on the water, right? It's about the size of like a
Skimboard, maybe? Or bigger than that.
like a boogie board. It's the size of a
Yeah.
boogie board-ish. And then it's got this foil underneath it with the motor, and it's motorized, and you stand up on it and ride on the water, and it's freaking awesome.
I want to do it so bad.
Yeah, and they take you out doing that, and they have a drone following you, filming you, and what's his husband's name? Christos is his name. Christos is on one next to you, and he's filming you with the camera as you're going, and he's like amazing on it, of course, because he does it every day, so he can really, you know, do it up good. But anyways, if y'all want to know about them, drop a comment, and we'll get you their contact information. But as I get back to the beach, they're there because they got customers and they're doing all their stuff. And as I'm loading everything up, I thought, hey, Christos, you eat fish? And he's like, yeah. And I said, you want some? And he was like, are you serious? And I said, you got a cooler? And he opens his cooler, and I go throw that big redfish, boom, and the trout, boom, 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 all in the cooler. There you go. And he was like, what? And it was just super cool to get to share
Good
that with somebody.
Easter blessing, yeah. And
Yeah.
they made fish tacos.
Yeah, they were sending us pictures that night of their fish tacos. Pretty awesome. So.
Well, we don't have any questions. Anybody have any questions? Anything you want to ask about fishing? I brought my water bottle in to show you too. This is another easy thing that we can do for Earth Day and for the entire year is to bring your own portable water bottle instead of plastic bottles, you know. Just keep refilling a water bottle, which I know is not new, but sometimes we need a reminder because all that plastic just stays in landfills.
I know something else we're going to talk about real quick. A lot of times, folks ask me specific questions about like what kind of hooks we're using, what kind of weight we're using, all that kind of stuff. I want to talk to you for just a minute about hook types, and this is a little bit kind of not exactly what I want to show you, but it's close enough that it'll work. You hear us talk about circle hooks, and you freshwater guys probably don't use circle hooks, but I'm going to explain to you why we use them, and more importantly, how to use them, because anytime we take new people fishing, the tendency is, if you're a freshwater guy and you come out with us, the tendency is, in our mind, we're still bass fishing and cat fishing, and we want to reel down and we want to, bam, nail that fish and set the hook. And it doesn't work. You'll never catch a fish if you come down here and you're using these circle hooks and you try to do that.
Yeah, you gotta get close though.
Yeah, I'm going to. And now I'm going to explain to you why. Can you see that? Aaron, can you
Yes.
Okay. So that's a circle hook, sort of. That's a Mutu hook, but it's close enough. And I want to explain to you how this thing works. If you look, you see the shape of it, but also if you can see the offset on the point actually turns up just a tiny bit there. Now, here's how this hook works. It's on your line, right? And as a fish eats it, and he's got this whole thing in his mouth, you see the shape of that hook? And if he's got that whole thing in his mouth, and you yank to set the hook, let me get a better angle for you. Look at it right there. It's in his mouth, and you yank to set the hook. Look, the point never gets him. And it just pulls that hook right out of his mouth. and you'll never hook a fish trying to set a circle hook. How you do this, when this thing is in his mouth, you have to just pull your line just tight. You just take the slack out of the line, that's it. So when you do that, this hook slowly, that offset tip, as it's coming through his mouth, grabs the skin like this, because that hook is pointed, that tip is pointed down, and then it slowly turns itself and sticks right in the corner of his mouth. It literally, just like this, slowly turns inside there, and look what happens when it turns.
You put that in your mouth?
Not quite, close. But it slowly turns, grabs the corner of the mouth, and that little hook, that little tip digs in, boom, and now you got it.
Yeah.
So we're always telling you about, don't set the hook on a circle hook. I wanted to demonstrate why. Because I didn't get it. When I first started using them, I didn't get it. And I was like, whatever, you gotta set it. And I was so frustrated because I missed so many fish. And when I finally figured it out, and instead of setting, you just take the slack out of the line and you just go tight on him, and you'll feel it happen. And you'll feel all of a sudden, boom, and you got him. Yeah. Just like that. Now, that's how it works. But the other benefit to that is that when they first, if they eat this and they try to actually swallow the whole bait, the hook tip still doesn't get them, and it'll come out and then grab in their mouth. So my point is, it's very rare. Aaron, if you catch 10 fish on our circle hooks, how many of them are gut hooked? How many are deep out of 10?
Maybe one.
Maybe one.
Yeah.
And with a J hook, out of 10, probably half of them.
Yeah.
Get it deep.
It's so bad because then they're really hard to get out, and you're trying not to hurt the fish to get it out. These are just so easy. It's always in the corner of their mouth.
Yeah.
Always, and it just pulls right out.
It's better for the fish. It's a little more difficult to use at first. It'll take you some getting used to. Not only that whole not setting the hook and all that, but also if you're fishing live bait like us.
Getting it into a shrimp is a challenge.
Yeah, you gotta learn the little technique to it. It's not just the way with a J hook. You have to start it this way, and you have to spin it into the shrimp. But at the end of the day, it's totally worth it because you will hook up with more fish. They will be easy to remove because it won't be back there in their gills and throat killing them. And they're just an all-around good thing. So I recommend, if you don't use circle hooks, start using them, and just always be thinking, don't set the hook.
Yep. All right.
Well,
I think that's a wrap for our Talk Fishing to Me episode number 6.
So guys, thank you for coming. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. And remember, your life is short. So be sure you get up off that couch today and do something that makes your day great. Today, not tomorrow. Because at the end of it all, Aaron?
If you don't go,
you don't know. See ya!